I was thinking, what's the most obnoxious way I could start this recap, and I landed with all I do is win. And I obviously, I mean, this has been a really stressful week for me and my family. A lot of criticism. We got a lot of criticism over the last couple weeks with the way we were speaking about Glory Hole and El Granas. People were saying El Granas hottest team in the league, third seed, favorite. How are you not only done chaining them, how are you double done chaining them? And then for Glory Hole, they said the season's done. Give up. Glory Hole doesn't even believe. Glory Hole is planning for next season. There's a reason I'm on this screen right now. Out of all the guys that could be doing recaps, all the thousands and thousands of people that use their time in their lives that they could be spending with their family, instead talking about a different fantasy league, I was chosen. Do you know why? Because I see potential. I see potential. When I saw Glory Hole earlier this season, before we even started, said this team has the talent's there. There's some things there. It's the heart. For me, it's the heart that Glory Hole has. And for El Granas, there was too much talent, but not enough cohesion. It wasn't a unit. They were playing for their individual selves, not as a team. And the management wasn't there. Just to rewind everything, I don't remember why I don't like El Granas. I think the reason I like Glory Hole was because I predicted them and I just didn't want to be wrong, so I just stuck with it. El Granas, I think, just on chat, just said one thing that was negative about me, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm locked in. Because I never really read the chat. First time I read the chat, I see my name, I'm like, oh, they're great talking about me. El Granas is like, Rick doesn't know shit. But Rick knows shit. All right, let's talk about fantasy. So I forget the exact rules. I think this is a league that the consolation bracket leads to relegation, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to talk about it as if that's the case, and if not, and it doesn't matter, then I don't know what to say. But I'm pretty sure there's something there. We went with Jared, got the win over Team Living La Vida Yoda. Honestly, both teams did really well here. 160 is the projection to 140 is the final score. So we know we went with Jared's going to win. Again, I kind of wish I knew what was at stake here. But I think this is higher scoring than the game that I'm talking about. Yeah, the Glory Hole El Granas, both these teams outscored them. So I don't know what to say. I guess that's just the luck of playoffs. I did it all for the Wookiee. Oh, sorry. Is that the right team I'm looking at? Yeah. I did it all for the Wookiees, the same as Live in the Video, and I always mix it up. For that team, it was a good game, but it was mostly Josh Allen. I think that Bam Knight start, a lot of people, I'm a Jets fan. Everyone was big Bam Knight fans, but the Lions defense has been heating up, and there's just so many running backs in the backfield. He ended up getting 13 carries, only 23 yards. He's not the best receiving back. It just did not click for him this week. And then DeAndre Swift's usage continued. I was at this Jet Lion game, by the way. But this DeAndre Swift usage continues to just be it's fine. 8 carries, 5 catches. It's fine, but it's not enough to really propel you. So Josh Allen was obviously a great pick, but the rest of this team, Devontae Adams is good too, but the rest of this team just doesn't really have the firepower. Earlier this season, they finally come up big for you with Josh Allen and George Kittle. And you'd think normally that would be enough, but because of the shortcomings of other big players like Devontae Adams and Kenneth Walker having a mad game, it just wasn't enough. I will say this is a good way to go out if you're going to go out because you perform pretty well. And for Will with Jared, even better way to go out. I mean, this team just went absolutely off. This is a different story because really every player on this team came through. Kirk Cousins had a big game similar to what Josh Allen did for Wookiee, but every other player on the team also did well. Montgomery 24, and then everyone just carried their weight with like 15 points on average. So really great win for Win with Jared. A little bit too late, just missed out on the playoffs. Would have won a playoff game most likely if you squeezed in. That's frustrating, but for the most part, at least you were able to get a win in the consolation bracket. Caesar Tron's real tough way to go out, just did not produce all the way around. Miles Sanders, frustrating guy to own. Some points this season, it's like he's a steal of the draft, but lately it's just been a little bit of a shrug. And for the chairman, pretty good performance, 144, despite Mark Andrews not even being a startable tight end, which is the craziest thing ever. But you got just solid production. You got 20-point games from Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, and Devontae Smith. So wide receiver in this league obviously is king, and this team had it. So congrats to those teams. Let's talk about what really matters now. We're going to save the premier matchup for later. We're going to talk about Pain Train against Untouchables. Pain Train still has a player to go. They're projected to have 186 points to 105. This is a massive, massive blowout. To the surprise of not many, Pain Train was a better team all throughout the season. You know me and Untouchables. I've not been a believer. I said first round exit, and that's what happened. Some of it was luck. Jonathan Taylor got injured, so that's bad luck. But Jonathan Taylor was not getting 80 points. At some point, there's just nothing you could do, nothing any team could do, really, to keep up. At least for you look good with the Zay Jones start, because that was a fantastic start, getting you 30-something points. But the rest of your team, absolutely brutal. Freiermuth was injured and also blocking for the snaps he was in. Gallup just has not been good all season. And then, again, that Taylor injury. So, Untouchables, you're going to be planning for next season. It wasn't this season anyway. I don't remember if I'd done change or not, but I just remember a few different predictions where that was not a team I believed in. For Pain Train, starting to make some noise. I mean, this is a team that's going to threaten their next round matchup, because 186 points behind very legit performances. Burrow is looking fantastic. Derrick Henry is looking fantastic. A.J. Brown's looking fantastic. None of these good performances were fluke games. So, I mean, if I'm Pain Train, if I'm the team that has to play Pain Train, I'm not very excited. But we just gritted our teeth through all that so that we could talk about Glory Hole versus El Grenas. Listen, Glory Hole put up 138.62 points. Am I saying, oh, Glory Hole is this ultimate incredible team, deserved it? Not necessarily, but if you're a winner, you know how to win. And that's what Glory Hole did. You needed at least 126 points, which is a fine performance, to beat El Grenas, and you went in and you did that. And you got no help from your quarterback, Justin Herbert, but guess who did help? Mr. Not very consistent Dalvin Cook, coming off a bad game, has a massive, massive touchdown catch, and massive in the actual game, but massive for fantasy, to propel you for the win. If that touchdown catch doesn't happen, 13 points, I guess I don't know exactly your league scoring. One reception of 40-plus yards you get. I'm pretty sure that you lose that game without that catch. So, obviously a huge play to get you to the next round of the playoffs. Again, this team has the firepower. Tyreek said he had the worst game of his career, even though he actually did fine. So you expect maybe a big week from him. DK Metcalf, I think, has the awful Kansas City defense next week. Dalvin's looking good. Kamara looks horrendous. I mean, not him necessarily, but they are just not using him to get touch. Like, he's never going to get a touchdown in that offense. Hopefully he gets a couple next week. I'm trying to jinx him. But, yeah, I mean, I for Glory Hole, I think you have the momentum. You got a gigantic win. El Grenas, where did it go wrong? So me and my best friend in our fantasy league, we do the recaps on Facebook Live for our league. And our biggest debate this season was D'Onta Foreman. Because I had D'Onta Foreman, and I traded him for, you know what? I'm okay being vulnerable. I traded D'Onta Foreman for Courtland Sutton 7 weeks ago. Courtland Sutton's not on my team anymore. I dropped him. My worst trade maybe ever. And because of that, I really wanted to put my foot in the ground to say, it's not actually my worst trade ever, probably. But D'Onta Foreman's obviously decent, but I really have my issues with that offense and the usage that D'Onta Foreman has. I do not like him as a fantasy option. And my counterpart friend said D'Onta Foreman will be not only a good player, he will be a league winner this year. We defined league winner. We said playoff performances. We looked at their matchups, and he felt that this was a smash spot for him. D'Onta Foreman, 10 carries, 9 yards, 0.9 points, cost you the playoffs. I'm not putting this on you because I understand starting D'Onta Foreman. Like, it's not insane. But what is insane is the fact that we knew Jeff Wilson was inactive before the game. Once Jeff Wilson's named inactive and you have a very strong Miami offense in a weather iffy game where you know it's going to be run heavy, you need to play. Raheem Mostert. But Raheem Mostert stays on the bench, 24.72 points. D'Onta Foreman instead, 0.9 points. And that is the difference of this matchup. So this is what I'll say. Hindsight's 2020. I personally would have went Raheem Mostert only because I hate D'Onta Foreman. But I'm sure many online rankings would have D'Onta Foreman first. In fact, as I'm talking, I'm going to look up RB rankings week 15 to see where the professionals who know way more than I do ranked him. They had D'Onta Foreman ranked. I wonder if this was after the D'Onta Foreman ranked 26th, Raheem Mostert 25th. Wow. Okay, so they would have went Mostert, but by one spot. What I will say is it is annoying to lose in this way, but at least when you lose when it's like, oh, my own decision, it's like, all right, it's on me. Because fantasy is so much luck. If it was an injury, then that's a little bit more frustrating in my opinion. Whereas the Deontay Foreman thing is just frustrating. So anyway, I will not hammer on to El Granados. I want to say he's been a good sport. I haven't looked so much at the chat, so maybe he hasn't been. But from what I see, he's not really talking that much shit. I was hoping we'd do a friendly fake rivalry. Obviously, I did all this for entertainment and because I'm a diehard Glory Hole fan and you were talking shit. But no, for the most part, I think you had a solid team. You had a nice run at the end. Very disappointing way to go. And best of luck next season. So, with all of that, we're looking at next week's matchups, and I hope I don't mess this up So, assuming there's no reseeding, so it's going to be Paco Libre. Yeah, Paco Libre is going to be playing Pain Train. I'm going to be making predictions. Paco Libre against Pain Train and El Captain against Team Glory Hole. Keep in mind, the bye teams performed this week. El Captain, 182 points, was actually the most in the league, which is incredible. And Paco Libre, 160 was one of the most as well. So, they're looking to defend their names, and we're looking at next week's matchups. Let's take a quick glance. Right now, Paco Libre is projected to beat, I believe, oh, you know what? I can't even see him. Don't even show me, so forget it. But Paco Libre against Pain Train, I think will be a nice competitive matchup. I'm going to take note of my predictions. I think that there's a pretty decent chance Pain Train comes up with this win, this upset win. But at the end of the day, I've been a Paco Libre fan. I've been predicting Paco Libre Glory Hole Finals. It's actually slotted that it could work out that way, which would be legendary. So I'm going to go Paco Libre winning this game. A hard-earned win. No one goes crazy. No one goes absolutely off. But Paco Libre puts up a very solid 159 points. Beating Pain Train, who only puts up 143 points, which is fine also, but not enough. So Paco gets to win 159 to 143, and then we're going to get El Captain and Glory Hole. El Captain's going to be projected to absolutely demolish Glory Hole. That's a guarantee. I think that's going to be a 30-point prediction. But guess who comes in clutch in the last minute to get a win by 2 points? Glory Hole winning 144-142. Finals, Paco Libre, Glory Hole. We'll talk about the finals when we get there. Obviously, I know Glory Hole's an underdog, but hey, you've been doubting me all season, so keep on doubting me. Talk to you soon. Bye.